So it was founded, it was a system of orphanages. Usually there was one per annual conference. And as the years have gone by, they've diversified, where they have a number of different ministries, some of which is in-house residency ministry, but it is diversified in many different ways. And so was glad to have a chance to invite someone from our ministry. Well, it was supposed to be someone from a ministry. She couldn't come, and instead Christian Alberta is coming from Pensacola to share with us. So Christian, come and share. I don't want to eat up your time of me telling about who you are, what you're doing. So you do that. Come talk to us.
Thank you. Thank you for allowing us to be here and worship with you this morning. I am from the United Methodist Children's Home. I've been with the Children's Home since 2006, and I currently am the Vice President of Programs. So I get to go all over Alabama and Northwest Florida and check on all of our staff and our kids and the families that we work with to make sure that we're working out the mission that we're called to work, and that we're doing that the way we're supposed to do that. I'm going to show a quick video just to kind of give you an introduction to some of the families and the children that we work with, and then we'll go into a little bit more detail, and I hope that I do this right.
We are healing.
We are hope. We are unconditional love. We are restoring childhoods.
We are repairing families.
We are second chances. We are sharing the love of Jesus. The difference is you. We are United Methodist Children's Home.
So as Pastor Dave shared, our history is we started out as an orphanage, and that orphanage was in Selma, Alabama, and we could care for about 100 children at one time, but we were very focused on that campus. We had a school there, we had a church there, and our youth weren't really involved in the community, which isn't a great way to introduce or to make sure that our kids are ready for their adulthood. So one of the things that we did is we started creating group homes all over the state of Alabama and Northwest Florida, so that we could, small group homes, so that we could serve those youth in communities where they could be part of a local church, a local school system, so they could start having the normal experiences that every child gets to go through. So that's how that began to evolve. We also have a program that we call Transitional Living, in Mobile and in Tuscaloosa and in Headland, Alabama. We have little apartments behind our group homes, so that as our youth get to a point where they are mature enough and they've gotten at least to their senior year of high school, they can move into the apartment that's directly behind our main house. and have some more independence, but still have a great support system. So that if they do make a mistake and they have a amount of money for food and they accidentally buy a video game instead, that's what I've heard has happened, they can still come into the main house and eat dinner and not starve, but start learning how to make those wise, responsible decisions on a more consistent basis before they just go and are in their own apartment or their own home without any support. We also developed a scholarship program about 6 years ago. Historically, we have sent our youth to college. If they want to go, we would pay their tuition, we would give them some help with living expenses, and what we found is our youth were not being successful. They just didn't have all the tools they needed to be successful in college without a safety net, without a support system built around them. So we turned 2 of our homes, one in Florence, Alabama, and one in Tuscaloosa, Alabama, into scholarship programs. And we've partnered with the University of North Alabama and the University of Alabama so that our youth can go to college. They live in our group home, but we call it a scholarship program. And so they have more independence than our high schoolers and middle schoolers have in the regular group homes. But they're attending college. We have staff that are there 24/7. So if they woke up late and they need a ride to class, or they got a job and they don't have transportation, we can still get them there. Or if their paper is due in 30 minutes and they need someone to proofread it, we have all those things available to them. And we have someone that's holding them accountable. I don't drag kids out of bed to go to class. I don't think that's what we're there to do. But we notice that they didn't attend class. What's going on? Is there a problem? Is there something going on? They have to meet with our managers every week for a mentoring session, counseling, that kind of thing. And we encourage them to access all those support systems that are on campus. And we actually had our first graduate from the program this December. It's very exciting. And we have graduates this December and next spring, so we're hitting that point where we're starting to see those every graduation season. And our youth and our group homes and our foster care programs take priority into that scholarship program. We also started doing foster care services. We have foster care services in several areas in Alabama as well as Northwest Florida. We recruit families, we train them, we license them, and continue to support them in that journey of fostering. We also will work with families who work with what we call therapeutic foster children. Every young person that ends up in the foster care system has gone through some type of trauma. Just the act of being removed from their parents and placed in foster care is a traumatic experience by itself. Some youth are very resilient and they can function fairly well or even wonderfully in a regular foster home or other setting, but other youth, for whatever reason, aren't able to do that. And they have behaviors that are a result of that experience that aren't easy for just anyone to take into their home. And so what we do is we work with those families so that there's someone available all the time. Those youth are generally having trouble in multiple settings, not just at home, but at school. So if you're working with a young lady or young gentleman and they're getting kicked out of class regularly, or you're getting called to the principal's office regularly, or they're being suspended regularly, you've got to have someone that can come in and advocate for them at school. Sometimes we've had foster parents actually go and just sit with them in their classrooms to help them be able to maintain a little better. So, and we have staff that kind of wrap around those foster families and give them the support they need. Sometimes, foster parents, they just need someone to tell, like, you will not believe what this child did today. Like, and just need to vent that, or I don't know what to do here, can you help me with that? So we have staff that are available 24/7 to answer that phone and to answer that call. We also have developed a program called the Crestview Teen Center. It was in the video. So in Crestview, Florida, we have a program where we're just doing mentoring to youth. They come in, they're youth that either are in foster care, they're in a foster home, they've been placed with a relative. We have a couple grandmothers that each have multiple sets of grandchildren in their home. And so we saw a need where there wasn't enough support for those families, and we wanted to come and wrap around that. So one of the skill sets that we've developed in all of our program is helping our youth achieve better educational outcomes. A lot of times our youth have moved around a lot, they get behind in school, and so we work with them to make sure they're in the best educational setting. We end up with lots of teenagers that maybe haven't been in school since the 6th grade, and they should be in 11th grade, and they can't just start high school and be successful. You got to do some other things first to prepare them for that. Otherwise, we're setting them up for failure. So that's one of the things that we do. We mentor and we coach. We provide school supplies and hygiene items and clothing. We work with them on finding jobs and volunteer opportunities so that they're ready for success too. Another service that we provide in Alabama and in Florida is a service designed to prevent youth from coming into the foster care system. We call it our Focus program, and we have staff that when the state of Alabama or the state of Florida identifies that this family is at high risk, their children are going to be removed if this situation isn't remedied. I mean, it may be that they never learned how to clean their house properly, and now they have a 9-month-old that's crawling around on a very dirty floor. And so we can come in, we can give them very specific intervention. We have staff that work with them for at least 3 months, up to a year if needed, so that we can intervene upon whatever it is that's causing that crisis in that family, train that parent on how to parent safely, how to utilize other resources, how to develop good support systems so that their children can remain intact in their homes and that won't have to come into a foster care system that's already overwhelmed. And we also have, we do some parts of the adoption process. We have a staff person who does international home studies and domestic adoption home studies in the state of Alabama. We take birth parent history so that if a child is being placed for adoption, we can get all that biological history so that when families are having to go and get medical attention for their adoptive child, they can have that family history as well. Here in Mobile, we provide a very specific program called Babies First. So our young ladies come to us, almost all of them have been removed from their parents by the Department of Human Resources for a variety of reasons. And they also happen to either be pregnant or be parenting. So we have a group home off Schillinger Road where these young ladies can come and they can learn how to parent safely. They can be placed with their child or have their child while they're with us. Sorry. What we do is what you would do for your own child. We teach them everything they need to be successful. So that sometimes that starts with, basic manners, how to interact with people appropriately. We work with them on how to take care of the laundry, how to cook healthy meals. We work with them when they have their babies on having a schedule so that they aren't just going to bed at any time, on the importance of having a schedule. We'd work with them on how to discipline their child in an age-appropriate way. And so our young ladies are given an opportunity to, one, catch up on their own needs, their own health, their own education needs, start working towards their own goals for their future, but also do that in an environment where they can also learn how to safely parent and give them an opportunity to make the best decision they can about how they want to live their life. We have had some young ladies that have decided, I don't want to do this. This is more than I want to do. And we've been able to safely guide them towards allowing their child to be adopted. We've had other moms that have said, I'm going to do this. I'm committed. This is what I'm going to do, and I get how much it takes, and we're able to do that with them in a way that they're able to do that safely. So that's what we're doing in Mobile. What's very exciting about Mobile right now is we just came through a strategic planning session, and we decided as a leadership team in the agency with our board of directors that our most important thing for us to do as an agency is to build a new facility or new group home for our Babies First program here in Mobile so that we can actually serve more mothers and infants. We have an opportunity to take on more, but in order to do that, we need a bigger facility. And so that is what the near future will be holding. We've already started working with an architect to start designing the building. So that's hopefully what you'll start hearing about soon, is an opportunity to grow our program here, and then hope to potentially also to offer new services here in the Mobile area. So we're very excited about that. And we're doing that because we've seen so much growth. I'm so proud of the young ladies that are sitting over here, because they do choose every day to make better choices, to do the right thing. It's not always beautiful. Sometimes it's messy. We have staff that are committed 100%. Our staff in our Mobile group home, they're there 24/7. If a baby is crying in the middle of the night, I'm sure that most of us have had the experience where they just won't stop crying. They just will not stop crying. You've done everything you can do. And as a teenage mom who hasn't had any other experience, having someone that can come alongside you in that moment and say, let me get some rest. Let me take care of this for right now for you. It's a safe way to do that. It prevents, the frustration, where that child is so vulnerable in that moment. And so I can't say enough. I can't appreciate our staff enough. They do phenomenal work with our young ladies. The other thing that we do, that we believe strongly in, and I'm so happy to be here on Mission Sunday, is we honor our kids every single year through an awards weekend. We bring them together. We want to love on them. Our kids aren't always the kids that are going to get all the trophies. They're not going to get all the awards. They're not getting perfect attendance. They're not all getting straight A's. And they don't get those kind of natural awards from school or local community members. And so we want to recognize the hard work they're doing. And so they get awards like Most Improved Student, or the best student in science or math. Sometimes our best grade in math is a C, but that's okay because they've passed it, and we want to honor that. Selecting who's going to get each award is one of the hardest things we do, because we have so many young men and women that are working so hard to improve their educational situation, to get back up to speed so that they can graduate on time or nearly on time and start moving towards a future that is bright and prosperous. The other thing that we do that we believe strongly in is every year we take our youth on a mission trip. We want them to know how important it is to not just receive, but to also have the joy that comes with service, how important it is to give back to people and the purpose that gives to us. We just got back from New York City, because we also believe they need to experience other places, that we don't all just, that there's a big world out there with lots of needs and lots of opportunity. In New York, we were able to partner with an agency called YSOP, which is Youth Services Opportunities Project, and they're a Quaker organization, and what they do is they help identify appropriate places to volunteer while you're in New York with homeless and hungry men and women. So our youth worked in soup kitchens. They helped cook and serve meals. They worked in food pantries where they organized food or helped people access the food that they wanted. They organized clothes closets. They were on trucks where they went and delivered food. So they just spent a week in New York City where they got to participate in serving people that were less fortunate. And that has translated when they come back home. In almost every program, we have youth volunteering regularly. Actually, in Headland, we had a group of young men who started checking in on a neighbor who was elderly and came to our staff and said, Mr. Eddie's porch is not safe. It's just not safe, and he's about to be in a wheelchair. And so they started working with the First United Methodist in Dothan's men's group, and our young men in Headland helped that men's group build a new ramp for the neighbor out there at our group home out there. And I know that is a direct result of their opportunities doing mission work and giving back. So we're just very proud of what our youth are able to accomplish. And we can't do that without partnerships like yours here at Chickasaw United Methodist. I want to share a little story. I was at an open house in Scottsboro, Alabama. We were in a park near our group home, and a gentleman saw our sign, and he stopped and he said, "I just have to tell you, I grew up in the Methodist Children's Home in Anniston, and every time I pass a Methodist church, I know somebody loves me. I feel loved every time I see the cross and flame." And I said, "Really?" And he said, "Yes." He said, "Because I knew the staff were there because they were paid to be there, but the volunteers that came in, the people that brought, the extra gifts, or brought us meals or showed us love whenever we showed up at church," he said, "that showed the overwhelming love of Christ, and I know that every time I pass a Methodist church, I'm reminded of that." And I think that's such a powerful testament to the body of Christ, and how it works. So, and I know that we cannot work out our ministry and our mission without the support of other people and of other faithful churches. Specifically, if you want to do anything to continue to support the Mobile Babies First program, we always need diapers. We just do. Wipes and diapers. Anything that you can think of that your own child needs, that your own family enjoys doing. We love taking our kids out on outings. We have a specific budget for that, but when we get extra donations, we get to do more. So, gift cards to, a local pizza place, so after we go to the park, they can go get lunch or dinner, or to a local bowling alley, or to a movie, or whatever it may be. Those kinds of things are just extras that are always fun to do and enable us to do more. We always need extra school supplies, towels, bedding, pillows and pillowcases and sheets. When our youth leave us, a lot of times they take that with them. We want that to be theirs. We all have a pillow that we've had since we were. My husband has one that's like 30 years old. I've tried to throw it away 100 times. So I know how important, we know how important those things can be. So we get attached to those things. So we want to make sure that our youth are able to take those with them, so we have to replace those things whenever we get new youth. So again, I thank you for allowing me to be here. I do have a table that an army of young people here helped set up and have been watching for me. And I do encourage you, what we have at that table are all things designed to remember us. We have pens and pads of paper and coasters and wooden medallions that you can take with you. And when you see those things and use those things in your everyday life, I encourage you to pray for us. Pray for our staff, pray for our youth, pray for our leadership, that we are continuing to make wise choices, that we are continuing to do what is needed and necessary to move our to share the love of Christ with all of the young men and women that we are touching every day. So I'll be in the fellowship hall at a table, and you're welcome to take any of that. And I have just one more video that will close me, and I thank you so much for your time. Oh, sorry.
Would you introduce your ladies you brought with you?
Absolutely. So over here, I have two of our staff, Mara and Latoya. You'll want to wave.
Okay.
They work tirelessly. I mean, absolutely tirelessly. They're 24/7 at the house. They sleep overnight there, so that our youth can have the most normal experience we can give them. And then we have two young ladies, Tyone and April. And I would be remiss if I did not introduce Zariah. Can you wave at us? There you go. And these are just a couple of the youth that we're serving. And I just, I appreciate you guys being here today, and I hope that you've enjoyed it. So, thank you. So the next video is actually our White Christmas video that they just finished producing, that's going to be used throughout the Advent season. So you get you're our first sneak peek. So very exciting. But again, I'll be at the table if you have any questions that you want to ask specifically. I'd love to answer those. Thank you.
I've always wanted a driveway to run down as I'm getting off the school bus. A place to feel secure. A safe place where I know I will lay my head down at night. I've wanted someone to know me and care about my thoughts. For someone to say they love me and mean it. I've hoped and wanted all these things most of my life. Now I can say I have them all. I'm thankful for those things, my hopes and my dreams have finally started becoming true. I still wish to be a kid, and I want to have presents and toys to be able to tear open Christmas morning. But no matter what is under the Christmas tree this year, I will be thankful for what I already have. Thank you for always loving me and taking care of me. You have shown me how much you love me. In Jesus' name, amen.